welcome to Goa.
Good to be back here.
Yeah. So I was introducing you to somebody today and I was saying he's the god of Unreal in India, but why don't you introduce yourself a little bit better than that? What do you guys do at Green Rain?
Yeah. So at Green Rain, we're a creative technology studio, and real time is at the heart of what we do, very specifically Unreal. We're a training center on one hand, we're helping people in the region start to use Unreal for whatever they're trying to do and enable their workflows. Other than that, we're also very active with sort of the consulting and production side of Green Rain. We've spent the last 3 years doing a lot of virtual production. Before that, we've done a few games, engineering simulations. So I think at some point we've touched almost every vertical that Unreal is used for.
I think it's very phenomenal how sort of the engine has been able to map the real world in the Unreal world. And what has been your sort of, because you've seen it across so many different industries, what's been sort of your most fascinating sort of moment that you've had in this journey of saying that, oh wow, like you can, because there's so much, and I feel like every time you spend more time in it, there's you suddenly find something new that's like, oh wow, like they've really thought this through as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've been using Unreal for the last 10 years, and every now and then there is something groundbreaking that happens with the engine. When I started using Unreal first, that was back in Philly almost 10 years ago. That's when I was with Nathan, and there was also Sean Lilly over there, and he's over at a team called Cesium right now. And I think what Cesium did with the engine a couple of years ago was amazing, just in terms of the trajectory they have. It's basically to bring the whole world into Unreal, and then they ended up collaborating with Microsoft and a few others as well to deploy all of that onto an XR device, where I mean the premise is you have a digital twin of the world at your fingertips. So that's kind of the root of that project, and I find that very fascinating.
And sort of extrapolating that thought forward, where do you see all of this going? Because with the amount of sort of between regenerative AI being able to create nice 3D content that can integrate directly in, between us being able to capture now digital twins in a far more easy environment, the ease of those workflows are becoming better and better. Where do you sort of see this projecting a few years in? Where do you see sort of, all of this going for content and consumption?
The way I see it, and this is also to some extent the mission that I'm on, I kind of see myself as somebody who's helping build portals between the real and virtual worlds, right? Whether that's film, whether that's what you're doing here at Quidditch. I mean, with the Apple Vision Pro now, you have millions of sports fans in the country now who are going to be able to see highlights on the Apple Vision Pro, fully immersive, and then just in general as an experience, right? For somebody who loves to watch a sport, when you take them that close to the action and also allow them to look at it from different perspectives. Cricket or any sport, right? It's fun to play, but we have more people watching than playing at this point, right? And there's a reason it's special. And when you give people agency or control, and where they're not just passive spectators, where they can actually dive a little deeper, I think that's something the app is doing really well right now.
Thank you. Yeah, very excited to see where it all ends up. Where do you think, sort of, for newer talent coming into this whole domain of immersive, of 3D spaces, of virtual production, what would you sort of say to parents and younger people looking at this space to be able to kind of get a sense of, because I think one of the key things is we can see that the future is very bright.
Yeah.
But what is it that's going to take a little bit of more push to be able to get people more encouraged to be able to look at this as a career and as a path forward?
Yeah. Well, I think at this point, parents are typically worried about how it's going to pay bills and things like that. I feel like that, that's kind of getting solved with everything that's happening in the ecosystem right now. To the extent that there's almost pressure now for parents to, tell their kids, hey, become an engineer or become this or become that. I think what needs to happen to make it more real is, people need to find what they're passionate about and find a way to translate that into something they can, make a living doing and really bring their strengths. But the way it's happening right now that I find somewhat problematic is that there isn't a holistic approach, right? It's not necessarily combined with recognizing the importance that design or arts have. So I feel like a lot of these tracks are very siloed, and I feel like there needs to be an effort to, bring it all together. Yeah, I feel like that will shift the needle tremendously.
And just extrapolating from that, what do you think we can do to sort of bring a little more gender equality into our industry? Because that's something that we've been working very hard on to try and see how we can train more people, and have some equality in gender, because the creative world is something that, is open for everyone, and it's,
Yeah, and see that's a problem right now in the industry, and I feel like focused campaigns, focused efforts, like, what Epic's doing with the Women Creators program, I feel like things like that definitely help, giving people the time, the resources to develop expertise, and then, sort of apply their skills, right? And allow them to develop skills as well. That really helps. And at the same time, we have to do our best to fight any biases that exist, and make sure, we're creating a playing field that's equal.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Karan. I've always been inspired by the work that you do, and the culture that you've been able to build at your organization. And I feel like, people, the collaborative nature with which, you're just always there with open arms to be able to help anyone and anybody in the industry has been absolutely amazing. And I think it's really set a tone for how everybody operates. So thank you so much for that. And thank you for being here. It's been
absolutely,
an absolute
the feeling's mutual, and, a lot of love and respect. What you're doing here is amazing. What the team is doing here is amazing. Can't wait to see it when it's all ready.
Thank you.